Hey minions, welcome to Crank It Up. This is game 3 of the finals, the game that we didn't know that we would need, and as it turns out, we did. We're going to have a great match, one that will surely be remembered, between Cyborg 8 Musketeers, played by Chucky on the left in red, versus Rockstar Ghosts, played by Sonus in blue on the right. I'm joined today by Blackjack, who has been a big part of this tournament with getting Rockstar Ghosts to the finals. Hey Blackjack.
Hey there.
So in game 1, we had Cyber 8 Musketeers winning on a tremendous play, breaking all 3 bases at one time. Before then, though, it looked like Rockstar Ghosts were in complete control of the game, and they were definitely in control of the game in game 2. Wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I think we just have seen two complete rollovers, I guess, from first Ape Musketeers and then Rockstar Ghost, and both combinations are able to drop really high power outputs, and I'm excited to see what's gonna happen next.
It's funny because we have City of Gold once again in the starting bases. We shuffled the bases randomly, but it came out. And with 8 Musketeers going first, we'll see if they'll be able to take advantage of it. All right, let's start the game.
Yeah, as we see their starting hands, I think Chucky has again the Clyde in hand, which enables the Ape Musketeer combo some pretty big plays last time. And from Sonos we see, well, the hot venue for a nice setup play, one groupie, and mostly minions. So that will make it hard to dump his hand and get the Titan in play.
I think we're going to see a spirit here. I think Sonus is going to immediately kill his minion to keep the pressure off. He could place Hot Venue and Spirit to kill Young Musketeer, get his Titan out, and regain first turn advantage.
Yeah, could very well be. Also see the base action hot venue, which is kind of nice to have for the Rockstar Ghost combo, but also like in game 1 going bananas from the 8 Musketeer combination to immediately destroy this card.
So it sounds like he is going to Spirit. It's just a question of which is he going to discard. I think he's going to discard the Haunting, get Hot Venue, get the Cream Puff Man out on another base, and get to draw an additional card. Really, that's
Uh,
surprising.
Drawing 2 times sellouts, which of course will help him draw cards again. But as you said, for not getting the Titan out, it won't get easier, especially with 2 specials in hand.
Now I'm wondering, because City of Gold played such a big role and Sonus has such a small hand, I'm wondering if he's actually going to token of affection for Monkey on Your Back here, because he doesn't want to be down 4-1 like last time.
I mean, it could be, but again, Token of Affection is such a huge part in his power output, and if he doesn't find the Juiced Up or Flying Monkey, which are key combination parts, but I think you're right. He actually does search deck right now. That could bite him long term, but we'll see.
I think he's afraid to lose the game right here. That's effectively a 2-point swing because it's giving him a chance for a victory point. He knows that he's going to be out of spirit range. Now, if he just has a way to break this base right here, he can force Sonus to waste a haunting. So we've got 6 power on the base. He needs to add 10.
With his cards in hand, he has one for all from the Musketeers. Make way to move a minion, and last stand as a special, so there are, and of course on guard for +1 power.
Clyde 2.0 would add 4. One for all would add 3 because it would trigger Young Musketeer. And then in guard would add, he can only add 8.
Right.
He has to be really careful with City of Gold because Sonus is going to get a point. He can't really do anything about that. He would necessarily, yeah, I think it's smart to play on a different base and just kind of buy some time.
I'm thinking that Clyde 2.0 may actually work really well with the base retirement community because you can actually save him and use him again later. But Chucky chooses Grandma's house.
Drawing Athos there, that might actually be enough.
We see Sonus just scoring City of Gold right now with both hauntings at 6 power and the power ballet giving them +1 power.
Right.
Is in.
Is
I'm
he going to
curious
power
to
pose here?
yeah, I'm
I
curious
would
to see
suspect
if
that he
he's
is.
yeah, he is playing both specials, so he will draw 4 cards.
That's one of the things that I love about this combo is that they can go from no cards to having plenty of cards in no time. And he just drew Rock of Love. That's going to be 8 power at least.
And with the Door to the Beyond, yeah, we are looking at in 2 turns, of course, but 16 power play if he chooses to use groupies.
I think what you'll see is you'll see Door to the Beyond on one turn, a Ghost to discard Torbus, and then Rock of Love and 4 groupies.
So you would start with the Door to the Beyond. We haven't seen Going Bananas from Chucky, and we know that he has it in his hands. So maybe
That's
the
actually a good
safe
point.
route would be to just draw the groupies first and then play them in combination with Door to the Beyond.
It might depend on what that card is. I think you're right. He is going to go for the Rock of Love now. So if he searches for 3 groupies, that means that he's going to still have too many cards in hand to do Door to the Beyond. It makes sense to get as many groupies because he can play them, but with that one Ghost and the fact that he's going to be drawing 2 cards, he'll be at 3 cards. So without another card, he won't have the ability to play Door to the Beyond next turn.
Right. But he still has a 16 power burst play, so that's not bad either.
So now we have 9 power on Grandma's house. We do have Athos and D'Artagnan, who are great setup minions. Athos, especially combined with One for All, can get something going out of nowhere.
Yes, definitely. And also D'Artagnan to, well, just cycle through your deck a little bit quicker, which is definitely needed in the combination of apes and musketeers, because they can run out of juice yeah, quite quickly.
And I think that that's actually Chucky's preferred. When you look at the game logs, he seems to really like using D'Artagnan to be his juiced up flying monkey play because of how many cards he draws, especially if you can do it with some of the Cyborg Ape actions, because then you get to persist those with Cyberback. With the
Right.
Musketeer standard actions, you have to be very conservative and economical with them.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's the most important difference between these two combinations. Both of them are capable of quite high power outputs, but the Ape Musketeer player is able to pump out I think between maybe 15 to 25 power even, but it's not as consistent and not they are not as resourceful as the Ghost Rockstar player. Ghost Rockstars have these between 10, 15 power plays, but over the course of the whole game.
So Sonus drew Gestar that will actually increase his power output from 8 to 10 and 12 when you can factor in the Ghost. That can definitely make something happen. There's 9 power on Grandma's house. With the output of 12, that would be 21. If Chucky adds 4 power, we could see Grandma's house base. We could see Grandma's house break out of nowhere. One of the problems that plagued me in game 2 was that I never really drew any of the Cyborg Ape setup actions. I drew missing uplink, which is great for them. But this team could really use a card like Cyber Evolution or even a shielding. Anything that you could play on D'Artagnan to draw an extra card just to trigger his ability while still setting up something in the future would definitely be good.
Right now, I think both players are considering making a setup play, but both can't actually score a base right now. So they have to calculate which power output each of these players has, and yeah, what to expect from them, from their opponents.
Obviously, Chucky doesn't know what Sonus has. We see that he's counting his cards right now. He's probably trying to figure out exactly what's the best case scenario and what's the realistic case scenario. Uh, if he has a full batch of groupies and Door to the Beyond, then that could be 20 power right there, each groupie being 4 power, and there's 5 of them total. That's a tremendous power drop. Then again, if Sonus can do that, then there's no worry about with Grandma's house because that's going to break it. It's going to break retirement community. It's going to break Doyo. I think what you're going to see is we're going to see one of the Musketeers on a different base. And I'm going to guess that it would be D'Artagnan because Athos is so important for the burst play that they have with the extra power that it creates.
Yeah, you might be right. And especially splitting up his power seems to be good because he doesn't want to lose the Clyde on Grandma's house without getting any value off of him. So if Zonus will break the retirement community, that might actually help Chucky to keep his Clyde in play. in play and, well, get something out of him in the
That's
future.
another good point. Putting D'Artagnan on retirement community would not be the worst thing in the world. Depending on the level of desperation, it wouldn't surprise me if he considered something like make way isn't really that crucial to their strategy. There are times when it's nice for pivoting, but I'd almost be tempted if I were Chucky in this situation to play D'Artagnan on Grandma's house to see what the next card is going to be, and then use make way to move him to retirement community and draw that card to try and get something going and accelerate what he's trying to do.
But we see Chucky actually playing Athos on Grandma's house.
He must think that he can break it then.
Yes, I think
That's going to be a start of 11 power. So we're going to have 13 on the base.
one for all, adding 4 power makes
It's
17.
actually going to add 5. Athos will tap twice for each of them, and it'll give 1 to the Young Musketeer. So I think all for 1 is going to be 6. And then the next one will be 5.
So 13 and 6 will make 19, 5, 24. If he can get another on guard in, it should be enough to break the base.
Well, right now his power is wrong. He's got a total of 4, 8, 11. So there's
Right.
13. If he adds 6 and 5, that's going to be plus 11. That'll be 24. He should be able to break it with what he has in hand. And I think he's doing what I normally do: lay the cards out. This team is incredibly mathy. It's not surprising to just take a couple of minutes. I usually have a pen and paper nearby as I'm calculating all my options. I hate to see this type of play because it is going to waste Collide 2.0, but it's also one of those things where you can't afford to be down that much with the VP farming of the Rockstar Ghosts. This
Yeah.
will at least tie the game for the time being.
That's why I
So
said
he's
I
drawn.
would like Clyde on the retirement community, because if he could score this base instead, he could of course place the Clyde back on top of his deck at the end of scoring the base.
So yes, he was able to break it.
And we see another Musketeer base, another base with
Depending on
5 victory points.
that, could be bad. Chucky's lucky here because Sonus can get to 24 with the extra action of Bastion St. Gervais if he's not careful.
But funny enough, Solus doesn't have an action that directly affects one of his minions, because Door to the Beyond will not trigger until he has 2 cards left in hand.
Right, but you still have to play this very carefully.
Yeah.
It wouldn't. I think what you're going to see is you're going to see this is just him thinning out his deck.
And hand.
Now I
Yes.
wonder if he's going to is he going to use an action here? Is it worth Door to the Beyond setting it up?
Maybe it would be an option to just use the guest star to search for a groupie but not play it.
I think we're going to see a baboom on Bastion St. Gervais. He cannot afford to lose 4 points to a solo score. And I don't think he can afford to lose D'Artagnan without any actions.
Right. Oh, he does
This
actually do it.
this is surprising.
But maybe, as I said, Ghost Rockstars are known for their 10 to 15 power plays. Not usually for 23, I guess.
They can easily do it with Ghostly Arrival. Um,
If you play the Titan and have the perfect card, Chucky of course knows that Sonus has at least 3 groupies in hand.
I almost wonder if he's going to punt Reunion Tour. Does he have anything good in his discard pile?
No, I don't think so. He has of course Hot
Uh,
Venue, but nothing to play with his.
well, he has Hauntings. It may. I think that he would want the Haunting in the discard pile because it's too good with the Dead Rise. He might just play Reunion Tour and either shuffle nothing. If anything, it's going to be the Hauntings.
Right, yes.
It would surprise me. It looks like he's going to do both. That's a little bit surprising because it does clog his deck. He's actually only doing one. Can you confirm that he's leaving one?
Yes, there's 1 Haunting still in his discard pile, which makes sense, as you already said, to play it from there as an extra minion.
It's one of the best things with the Dead Rise because you can get rid of 3 cards. I can understand why he's going back and forth. That's a little surprising because the groupie does not need to be in the deck I would not have put it in there.
Especially with guest star in hand, you can also search the groupie from your discard pile.
Right. As a matter of fact, if he were to draw his fifth groupie, that would be very bad.
Yes.
Because it means that guest star can't play it anymore because guest star can only get the groupie that was retrieved. So I'm a little surprised that he put it back into his deck. It doesn't really need to be there. Musketeer Apes continue to draw not that well. They're drawing too many minions and not enough of the key actions that they need.
Definitely. We see all three baboons come in Chucky's hand and in play. The last one. He has still D'Artagnan and now drawn Porthos, which are not doing anything for him here in this situation.
Porthos would be good to put on Bastion Sinker base, which is exactly what he's doing, because that's the one minion who would be immune to make contact.
Yeah.
If he's playing for, and now he's got a very good draw. If he's playing for second place on Bastion Sinker base, that's a great minion to have because he doesn't have to worry about make contact.
Yeah, absolutely. We see actually both players draw their boss minion. For Sonus, this is the Spectre, quite an interesting card because he can now empty his hand whenever he wants to and still has access to a 5 power minion. And for Chucky, it's the Cyberback, which would usually be great, but I don't think he has any good actions in his discard pile to use them for.
No, he's going to have to focus to drawing cards.
Right.
I think next turn you're going to see D'Artagnan with missing uplink. So
Yeah.
Sonus draws with classic rocker, trying to hope for another action like Ghostly Rival. Right now there's a total of 10 power.
I like the Incorporeal.
Now that does directly affect one of his minions there, so he can play an extra action.
Mm.
But I don't know that he's going to. He can't risk Door to the Beyond. If he does, then going bananas is going to destroy both of them.
Yeah, and at this point he just has a 15 power play in hand just by playing Spectra and 5 groupies with Guest Star.
If he has 15, that actually is enough to break Bastion Sinker base. So he's taking it back. Maybe he realizes that he doesn't need it.
Yeah, he has exactly 15, but he don't want to break the base, I guess.
I can understand that to a small degree.
He's discarding Spectra. I mean, yeah, I can also understand it because it would leave him at the what would it be, 12 to 11
But
victory point difference, and with Chucky maybe being able to score the retirement community in his next turn, he would solo score it and win the game. So he may be afraid of that.
I think Chucky's got to play missing uplink.
Yes, and he will.
But I don't know why he's playing it on Baboon, because he can get an extra card out of it with D'Artagnan.
I think he values D'Artagnan quite a bit and will try to make use of him a bit more.
He's drawing the 11th card at the end of his turn, so he doesn't have to discard. He has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, so the 11th card is drawn with missing uplink at the end of the turn. So he's safe. He doesn't have to discard. He's got a couple of key ingredients there. With biding time, that's definitely a big part. But still, he doesn't have one of the three big guns, all for one, juiced up, or flying monkey. Would you play D'Artagnan with shielding on retirement community?
Maybe.
At least you'd get him back.
I think it all depends on what Chucky's strategy will be for the next couple bases. If he either wants to put his points on Cyberback and he has to draw a couple key cards until he can make the play with Cyberback, or if he bets on D'Artagnan giving him the value he needs for the next base to also win the third one, which will most likely be the last base. And I think that's what makes it so hard for Sonus to decide on what base he wants to play, because if he now scores something, Chucky has the ability to end the game in his next turn if he has the right cards in hand, which of course Sonus doesn't know what he has.
Right. What also is possible for Chucky, depending on what Sonus does, what he does this turn is absolutely crucial. And I think that's why Sonus is sticking with his original strategy of preventing the solo score.
We have seen the token of affection and monkey on my back from Chucky, so there is no danger of
He's just
him destroying the only minion on retirement community or the dojo.
wow, he's discarding Door to the Beyond. So he's discarding 4. That must mean that he's killing Porthos.
Yeah.
But that will let him bring out the Cream Puff Man, which could be incredibly powerful with Classic Rocker.
That also is 15 power, so he could
If he
score
has, does he have?
the dojo then.
I think he's going to score Bastion Sacred Vase. Does he have Power Ballad in his discard pile?
Yes, he does.
Then I think he's going to kill Porthos. That'll bring him to 6. His action is going to be Guest Star, which will add 10 power plus the Cream Puff Man. That's going to be 15 to 21. He'll draw a card with Classic Rocker, and then he'll discard it for Power Ballad. I'm almost positive that's what Sonus is doing.
Yeah, and it makes way more sense because with the 4 and 3 VP bases we have left in the game now.
So, of course, we'd be disconnected at a crucial moment, but Sonus is about to break Bastion Synchrovase solo. He's discarding 4 cards to destroy Porthos, and then he's going to play Guest Star with his action to play all 5 groupies.
Yeah, and yet again we see the powerful tool the Spirit is, and what he provides to the combination, being able to drop 4 cards from hand and to empty his hand at this point is pretty huge.
Right, he's going to get 5 unanswered points, and this could be absolutely big.
Definitely. Of course, if we see another 4 victory point base, Sonus has to be afraid of a flying monkey play, breaking both bases and winning the game for Chucky. But I think this is the best option he has, and if you can score a space solo for 5 VP, you should most definitely do it.
Right. This is my favorite thing that this combination does, is to bring out the Cream Puff Man and immediately use its ability with Classic Rocker. It served me so well. And yeah, he's getting Power Ballad. That's going to go back on the bottom of his deck, give himself a ton of extra power. It's unfortunate that he needed to use the Cream Puff Man on the same base. But again, when you can get 5 solo points and deny him 4, you absolutely do it.
Yeah.
That's a big play in this game. Now, the next base that comes out is going to be heavily critical.
Sonus right now praying that it's a 3 VP base, I believe. And for Chucky, he still hasn't found his key components. So he will, I guess, have to settle with the setup turn and hope for the best.
Sonus has drawn a great hand, being guaranteed access to his Titan again.
Of course, also see his discard pile to look at his options. He can, of course, only play standard action, which leaves him with not
No,
so much choice.
he's got this actually might be game because he has Ghostly Arrival and Spirit, and Spectre is in his discard pile. That's a 13 power drop just waiting to happen.
Right.
So any power on Retirement Community or Doyo, and Sonus has this game. And I think he knows it. I mean, I feel bad for Cybergate Musketeers because they have such explosive potential, but they're just not getting the draws that they need.
Yeah, that's the drawback. They do so well in the first game with getting both glides and juiced up and all for one in order to use it all in the right order, get any value you can get. And now he is just starved for actions.
He's in a position where every card matters. He needs to be able to drop 14. He has D'Artagnan, he has Biding Time, he has In Guard, he has Make Way. So that would be 4 cards drawn and +3 power. That's still not enough. That's only 7. Even if he were to miraculously draw to battle to play Cyberback, that would be 12. He still needs something else. But I don't know if he realizes just how bad of a position he's in right now.
Maybe his best play is just to play Cyberback on the ring side and hope that Sonos hasn't drawn any
Well,
good
it makes sense
combinations
to play
yet.
D'Artagnan, and he's probably going to play. Yep, he's playing
And
shielding
he does
because
it.
he doesn't have to worry about make contact.
Right. So what he goes for now is just the maximum card draw to ensure him anything to win the game.
But now, if you're Sonus, you have a you have a problem. Do you play on ringside to take away the solo score, or do you just realize he's in a bit of a bind because right now is his big is his big moment. Um, he's getting rid of going bananas because it's not needed anymore. Um, it wouldn't surprise me if he drops a lot of power just to solidify his presence on a base.
We see Chucky having 14 cards in his deck, and we know that the last card is Monkey on My Back. He hasn't shuffled since, so I guess the Spirit on ringside would be enough to keep him from. But if we calculate it out, Sonos will only get 4 victory points if 2 bases score and he gets second place on both bases. Chucky
But that
getting
will
8, that will be enough for Sonos to win the game still. So I think the Spirit on ringside is the correct play here.
I'm inclined to agree, but the problem is that if he wastes this opportunity for a big play, and maybe he doesn't have to waste it, maybe he can still do it. He could probably play Spirit and hold on to Ghostly Revival. If he gives Chucky the opportunity to win ringside and then Flying Monkey, that's a different story. In other words, Chucky doesn't have to Flying Monkey right now. He just needs to win. He needs to win ringside or win retirement community desperately.
From Sonos' perspective, of course, Chucky has waited a long time for now, so he has to calculate with Flying Monkey in mind. And again, if Chucky wins retirement community and ringside, winning the game. If Sonos isn't on both of these bases.
So missing uplink just triggered. That's the card draw that we just saw. He doesn't have to discard it. That's actually a pretty big card that was just drawn because that's a free 3 power for Baboom.
Right.
And this is actually where Make Way is going to loom pretty large.
Yeah, and he is actually playing the Spirit on ringside to ensure his presence on all 3 bases. He will also play the Ghostly Arrival. I'm excited about that and to see where he wants to play.
Where is Spectre going? He's definitely splitting the distance.
Where
Maybe it
he's
goes on
thinking.
Doyo.
And right now he is also binding his Spectre to a base, so Chucky is actually able to play around it quite well. And has
I actually think if he plays Spectre on ringside, that'd be doing Chucky a favor
yeah,
because he has his special. Maybe he has it. It's at most going to add 2 power if he does have it.
yeah, right. And I think a big part of all of this endgame is to be afraid of your opponent's cards, what they could have in hand. So from Sonos playing Spectra is a pretty huge deal, I imagine, for Chucky, because it's 5 power binded at a base. He can absolutely play around it and score something else, or even score, as you said, the ringside without the flying monkey to get back into the game. Only makes it easier for Chucky to also score the base.
He still hasn't drawn, which means he's thinking very carefully about what he wants to do. In all honesty, I would have put everything on the Doyo.
Interesting. Yeah, I can see that. I would probably only play the Spirit on ringside and pass the turn, keeping Ghostly Arrival, Cream Buff Man, and Spectra out of play.
Well,
Because
right.
with Ghostly Arrival in hand, you can almost ensure to empty your hand in the next turn.
Right. All he needs is 1 minion and 1 action. Wow.
Shady deal
That
coming out. It's actually pretty huge.
that actually is going to be game. I think that's
Yeah,
game
yeah, yeah, most
because
probably. Even if Chucky now scores ringside, Sonus can immediately win with Shady Deal. And if he absolutely has to, he can also use Cream Puff's talent to discard Incorporeal and play Shady Deal a second time from his discard pile again.
Yeah. The only way that Chucky was going to win was to break ringside and win it, not have Shady Deal, and then go big for a Flying Monkey play to win 2 more bases, because that would be a net of 6 points, which would win him. He's down by 5. It's so sad and so unfortunate. There's nothing that he can do here. If he doesn't break a base, then you're going to see a double Shady Deal play to go to 14, and then literally there's nothing that can be done.
Yeah.
This game is effectively over.
I think this is the second time we see Ape Musketeers just being a little bit late and having the power output needed to win a base, but not wanting to win the base because they are so far behind the Rockstar Ghost combo.
The only thing, even if he were to break all 3 bases, that's still only going to be +5, because it's a 2-point difference, a 2-point difference, and a 1-point difference. If he miraculously broke all the bases, he can't stop the Shady Deal. It's really sad. There's unfortunately no way that Cyber Musketeers can win this match.
Right.
Still, let's see if he can get as close as he can. One of the things that I debated with game 2 was, I know I've lost. Do I want to lose by a ton, or do I want to make it a competitive score? I chose to take the Hail Mary on the slightest chance that maybe I can get something going. It didn't work out, but the score doesn't matter. A loss is a loss.
Right.
Whether I lose by 1 point or I lose by 7, it doesn't really matter.
And I completely agree. You have to play to your outs, and if there's the tiniest chance to still win the game, you have to take it. So yeah, as we said, for Chucky, it will probably be best to just score 1 base, ringside or retirement community, and hope that Sonus doesn't have the Shady Deal, because he, of course, doesn't know that it's over yet.
Well, actually, the game is not out. There is one crazy way that this game could actually still go on, and he'd have to break retirement community. It's absolutely crazy, but what it's going to need is it's going to need an extra action. It's going to need a trailing action. If by virtue of D'Artagnan drawing enough cards to get to Monkey See Monkey Do, to pull Monkey on Your back into his hand
Which
with
would be
Baboom.
13 cards. So 12.
No,
So 8 cards drawn by D'Artagnan to see the last 5 with Monkey See Monkey Do.
he has on a roll and he has it in guard. With biding time, it's not outside the realm of possibility, and I don't think it matters.
Drawing 8 might be a bit tough. He is playing Make Way to move his D'Artagnan over to the dojo, and I think he will break the base. That's actually the reason why the Titan is placed really well at the dojo, because that's the only base where, courtesy of its ability, you can move the spirit away and still go for the Zoldo score. But with the Titan adding power to the base, it's impossible for Chucky to solo score it.
He would need to somehow miraculously give Sonus 3 cards, and that's not going to happen. And this is unceremoniously game. It's going to be a final score. That's kind of ironic.
Yes, it is. It really is. We were missing the Flying Monkey all game, and now we see Great White North again as in game 1, where Chucky actually managed to win all 3 bases in 1 turn, with the Great White North being able to move a minion before it scores.
I'm a little surprised he didn't play Last Stand there to just try and get even, because that's 2 more cards for
Right,
D'Artagnan.
yes.
Doesn't matter. He's got to give himself 3 points. And now the game will end unceremoniously. If I were Sonus here, I'd tell him it just doesn't matter.
Yeah, me too.
So while he was taking his turn, I actually went and created a restore point to see if my Hail Mary play would have actually worked. It's unlikely, but that would be the craziest thing. That would be if he could somehow solo retirement community, then it's a completely different story.
But again, the Ghost Rockstar combination has a lot more resources than Ape Musketeer.
And that's how it's going to end with Shady Deal. He does not have the cards he needs in order to pull it off twice in one turn, but nevertheless, Rockstar Ghosts, you are the winner of March Smashness 2020. Congratulations to
Congratulations.
Sonus. Congratulations to Rockstar Ghosts. Congratulations to anyone who bet on Rockstar Ghosts to win. I have to say, it's a victory well deserved, but I do feel bad for Cybergate Musketeers getting hamstrung twice in one turn. This is another game where City of Gold looms large because it's just free victory points for everybody. And the threat of going to 15 actually played a significant difference. If Sonus is still, shady dealing to 14, then Chucky still has a chance.
Definitely, yes.
And now we see that um, Chucky is doing his best play.
Yeah.
So that's going to give him an extra action on a roll, double Cyber Evolution.
I mean, you do make a great point with City of Gold and 2 bases with 5 victory point rewards. The game was really quickly over, and a lot of VPs got.
There are all the cards that he needs right there. And then he's going to play on a roll and get all of them. Really unfortunate. They absolutely have this. They can win this matchup. They won game one. It's just unfortunate that I think both teams are going to be held hostage by what they draw. Rockstar Ghost can absolutely lock up. You saw it with Sonus for a long time. He didn't have the cards he needed to bring out the Cream Puff Man. Then he saw the opportunity with Spirit. Spirit is such a key card. I'm actually wondering if Spirit is the MVP of this game
Yeah, it could very
because
well be.
Spirit denied Chucky a point on City of Gold. That was massive. Again, if he has just even 1 point, then he has a chance to go for the Flying Monkey play. He's not that far down from his cards.
And,
Spirit took away a point from Chucky, helped give Sonus a point.
and also destroyed his only minion on the Bastion of Saint-Gavin to, deny him 4 additional VPs.
So thank you so much for watching Game 3 of the finals. We hope you enjoyed it. We had tremendous fun playing this tournament and having you follow along. Please stick around because in a little bit we're going to be posting a post-mortem conference call between the 4 players in the finals to talk about the tournament, our thoughts on everything that happened, and the finals game. Thank you so much for watching. Let's shut it down.